Oh, hello. Hi, Rezexct. How are you? Hi, Christopher Hario. Hi, Wolfman Gaming. Hi, Shwani's Creative Circle. How are you all? Everybody doing okay? Trying to get my camera right. Yeah. Let's see. Rezexct says I'm okay. Wolfman Gaming says I'm good, and you, Wolfman, I'm glad you're doing better tonight. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. Trying to get my chair situated. I'm well, thanks. Considering I had chemo all day yesterday, but I'm well. Thanks for asking. Swanee says she wanna. Oh, she want. Okay, because I keep saying she wanna's creative. So she wanna. Oh, because you have a apostrophe S on there. She wanna, so it throws me off. All right, so I got it. Hi, Lisa Lee. So glad you could join us tonight. Wolfman Game said, yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm glad you're doing okay tonight, Wolfman, because you had a couple of rough nights. And it's so nice to have Lisa Lee with us tonight. And Rezexct, you were here the other night, Wednesday night. Wolfman Gaming is here every night. Shawani's here pretty much every night. Christopher how do you pronounce that? Hario? I'm just butchering your names. Lisa Lee. So glad you all could join me tonight. And tonight you got a treat because I came through as promised. It was a little touch and go for a while there, but I came through. So we're gonna finish up the story from Wednesday, and we're gonna start a new story tonight. Sounds like a J. Okay, so it's pronounced, oh, Harjo. Harjo, is that how you pronounce it, Christopher? Hi, Gigi, how are you, sis? What's going on? I was moving, so I had physical therapy today and everything. They wore me out. And I meant to call you because I wanted to talk to you, and I didn't get a chance to because after that physical therapy, I was all discombobulated. Okay, thank you, Christopher. I don't mean to offend anybody by mispronouncing their name. So that's what it is, Christopher Harjo. Great, great. Don't forget, guys, to go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the live. I usually forget to ask anybody, but I sure appreciate it. And I just want to welcome each and every one of you. Like I said, I don't take it lightly that you all decide to come and sit in story time with me. Christopher, I'm wondering if I used your name before in one of the stories. I know I used I think I used a Christopher in one of the stories during story time, but I'm not 100% sure. I get those little brain farts. I noticed you dread stream and thought I would check out your channel. Oh, you saw me in Dread stream? Oh, okay. Yeah, is he a gamer? Christopher, is Dread a gamer? Because I'm wondering if let's see, my first visit to your channel. No, I'm saying you said you noticed that I was in Dread stream and you decided to come over to my channel. Oh yes, he's a gamer. Okay, yeah, I don't know how to play those games because I don't have good hand-eye coordination when it comes to that stuff. But I like to watch them, especially the ones that look like a movie. I was watching one the other night, and I don't know if I think it was in Dread. It was I don't remember the name of it, but these people were in this place, and it had a two-headed skeleton and some rats eating on the people, and they were just getting killed all kinds of ways. So I found that interesting, and how they have those characters so lifelike. Christopher says, I'm a life of dreads. I am life of dreads. Yeah, okay, that was the guy's live I was in. Okay, yeah, like I said, I don't know how to play the games. I like to watch them. I do like basketball and football, so I'll go into guys live that do those, play basketball and football games. I'll go into some of the others, and I just like to watch. But more importantly, I go in to support their live, just to show some love and support them in their live. And so that's what I did. But yeah, I remember. I think Christopher doesn't. I don't play much, but I like the banter. Oh, okay. Yeah, I went in somebody's live. It was some women. I was surprised. It was a bunch of women that were playing. I am Life of Dreads. Christopher, does he have two YouTube channels? Because I think I went into that one. I remember that name. Then I went into another one, and his avatar looked the same. Does he have two channels? Do you know? Just the one that you're aware of? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's 10 after. I was trying to give you all some time to come in and take your seats. Anybody come in at this point, I hope they come in quietly and don't disturb the reader. I'm going to go ahead and finish out the story we started on Wednesday, because I did agree to do that. So I'm going to finish that out, and then we're going to get into our next story. What book are you going to read? We're going to finish up the Pinocchio, the one that's like Pinocchio. We started on that one Wednesday, and it was longer than I expected, so I didn't finish it. So I decided to finish that one first, and then we're going to go into the one that's similar to Beauty and the Beast. Okay, so here we go. We're finishing up. So you remember where we left off. Pinocchio had just come in contact with White Tupac, who was a coach driver. And hi 50 plus, how are you? So glad you stopped in tonight to join us for story time. So glad to see you. So glad to have you. I'm getting ready to start now. I'm going to finish up the story we started on Wednesday, and then we'll move into our new story. So remember, like I said, we left off where the coach driver came in contact with Pinocchio, and he was called the White Tupac. And so we ended it there with the cricket kind of being disgusted with, Lisa's shouting out to 50, and so is Shiwana. They're shouting 50 out. And so the cricket was kind of like disgusted with him. Remember, our cricket name was, our Pinocchio character name was Think Dragon. The father's name was Disorganized Creator. And the fairy in the story was Seven Legs Fairy. And the cricket's name was Hippity Dippity 89. Okay, here we go. So now, this is the scene from Pleasure Island. After a while, the coach stopped. "You got a boy with you in that coach?" said a dark stranger named PK Strange to the white Tupac. "Yep." The white Tupac grabbed Think Dragon and threw him down onto the ground. "He's all yours. Now pay up." The white Tupac reached out for something. Was it money? For the dark stranger. Then the white Tupac drove off. What could it all mean? Initially, Think Dragon was very scared. But when he looked around, he no longer cared. Because everything the white Tupac had told him was true. Lots of candy all about. Tubes of ice cream sprouting out in every flavor. Boys like him could eat and play. Nobody had to work or clean up. There were cigars if you wanted one and pool tables to play all day. This is the place I think I'd rather stay, thought Think Dragon. After all, he wanted food and adventurous life. But after a few days, something was very odd. Where did all the boys go? He asked Hippity Dippity 89. All I see now are donkeys, said Think Dragon. I must say, there used to be more boys around here to play with, said the Hippity Dippity 89. Just then, one of Think Dragon's ears popped into a donkey ear. Then the other. Oh my, cried Hippity Dippity 89. What is happening to you? You're beginning to look like a donkey too. I don't know, huh? said Think Dragon. Think Dragon and Hippity Dippity 89 saw little donkeys led by PK Strange onto a truck. Oh no, said the Hippity Dippity 89. Now I remember, boys get turned into donkeys here once a year, and then the donkeys are sold. Think Dragon, we have to get you out of here, fast while we still can. Let's go, honk, said Think Dragon. His 2 feet had popped into 4, realizing he had turned some more. Run quick, said Hippity Dippity 89. One good thing about Think Dragon's new 4 legs is he could run much faster than before. Quick, quick! And all you could hear was clickety-click as they ran out of Pleasure Island. Soon they were at a dock by the ocean. Please, sir, Think Dragon called out to a man by the dock. I am looking for an old man named Disorganized Crafter who makes clocks. Do you know him? Huh? Sounds like you are getting a bad cold, said the man. Disorganized Crafter. Oh yeah, that's the old man whose son left one morning and never came back. Everyone thinks he's a wacko. He went out on a boat to look for him and never came back. Oh no, this is all my fault, honk, said Think Dragon. I must look for my father. Think Dragon jumped off the dock and into the water. Hippity Dippity 89 jumped into the water close behind him. Most of Think Dragon was still made of wood, so he could float on the ocean. Father, he called out, paddling the water with his arms. Father! But there was no answer. No answer at all. All Think Dragon could see around him was blue water everywhere. Until what was that? Far away, something was rushing up in the strangest way. Something big and very, very fast. At that very moment, a giant whale was upon them. It opened its giant jaws and with one gulp swallowed them up. Rushing inside with all the sea water tumbled Think Dragon and Hippity Dippity 89 the cricket. When they came to a stop, they saw that they were in the dark belly of the whale. "Are you okay?" said Think Dragon to the Hippity Dippity 89. "I am fine," said a voice of an old man. "Wait a minute," said Think Dragon. "Father, is that you?" There was Disorganized Crafter. "Father, Father, it's me. Can't you see? Your son, Think Dragon." "My son?" said Disorganized Crafter. I thought I was dreaming." They hugged with great joy because Disorganized Crafter thought he would never see his toy son anymore. "Look," said Disorganized Crafter as 3 fish swam by. "There goes our dinner." "Father, I have an idea. Let's make a fire in here." "Grilled fish tonight," said Disorganized Crafter. "No, I mean for us to get out," said Think Dragon. He gathered driftwood and got a flame going. "This is how we can make the whale sneeze," he said. Think Dragon waved his arms over the flame, and up came, black smoke rising high. The whale gave a cough. "Hang on," said Think Dragon. And then wham! One big sneeze created such a breeze that Think Dragon, Disorganized Crafter, and Hippity Dippity 89 flew out of the whale's mouth, rolling over and over in the seawater. At last, they rolled up onto the shore. "Think Dragon!" Disorganized Crafter rose to his feet and called. With Hippity Dippity 89 beside him, nothing at all had happened to the two of them. But wait, where was Think Dragon? "Look over there," shouted Hippity Dippity 89. They found Think Dragon. He was lying face down with his head in a puddle of water. "Think Dragon!" shouted Disorganized Crafter. They were too late. Disorganized Crafter and Hippity Dippity 89 wept over Think Dragon, the boy puppet who lay still in the water. Then in a flash, who was there but Seven Legs Fairy? "Think Dragon," she said, "you saved your father. You proved that you are both brave and true." She tapped the toy's head with her wand. "Now you will be a real boy," said Seven Legs Fairy. Think Dragon woke up. He looked at his soft arms and soft legs. "Father," he cried out and said, "Look, I'm no longer a toy. I'm a real boy." "That you are," cried Disorganized Crafter. Seven Legs Fairy turned to Hippity Dippity 89. "Come," she said, "it is time for us to go." In a flash, the two of them were gone. Disorganized Crafter and Think Dragon lived happily ever after. So that concludes our first story, the second part of our first story that we started on Wednesday. So now I'm going to get into our story for tonight. This one is the story that's based on Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, there was a very rich man named who lives. Oh, I can't. Okay. Oh my goodness, my names didn't come in. I'm missing. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Hang on a minute. Okay. All right, you guys got to give me a minute. My names didn't print out like they should. Give me a few minutes. Hang on. I'm going to pull up my email and I can read it from there. I'm going to bring it out here. Okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to read it from the laptop because my names were in a different color ink and I forgot about it, and when I printed it out, they didn't come out. The names didn't come out. Everything else did. Just give me 1 second and I'll get started. Everything want to move slowly. Oh, hi, Emily. How are you? Welcome to my live. So glad you could join us tonight for story time. We finished up the story that we started Wednesday, which was similar to Pinocchio. And I told everybody I'd finish it up. And so Emily says, I'm good. I'm glad you're having a good day, Emily. And so I said I'd finish that up and start the new story for tonight. Thank you, Emily. God bless you too. Everything moves slow when you want it to move fast. Okay, here we go. All right, let's move on down to, okay, all right, here we go. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a very rich man named Malone Money Mindset who lived with his 3 daughters, Cute Angie Vlog, Ashley, and Bubbles Pleasant. She was named that because she was always smiling. The two older daughters laughed at anyone who did not dress as well as they did, because they thought they were flawed and fabulous, and that everyone else was just flawed. If they were not going to a ball, they were shopping at the mall for as many fine dresses and hats as they could carry. After all, they shopped on a silver budget. One day after shopping, they ran into one of the town's men, Mr. Coleman. He looked at them with wide eyes, so they asked him, "What's wrong? Are sexy too much for you, Coleman?" He just shook his head and wandered away. One of them even thought she looked like DC the Purple Diva, and the other China Doll 25. The youngest daughter, Bubbles Pleasant, was a gallant beauty and liked to spend most of her time reading. "No one will want you," her two older sisters said as they laughed, walked away, and shook their heads. "Look at your hair. You look like a servant girl, like natural hair queen Sade, who lives up the street." Bubbles Pleasant did not know why they talked to her that way, but she would never say a word. She just didn't know how to break those barriers. So she said nothing. It didn't faze her one bit, because she had self-love always. One day, the father got some very bad news. He couldn't even pay his dues because he had spent all of his money on a ship that he sent out to sea for trade. Now that the ship was gone, he knew he'd lose his home and everything he owned. Everything on it was lost. So he began to count up the cost and suddenly realized all at once he was no longer a rich man. He had become as poor could be. I'm sorry, something popped up and blocked me. He had become as poor could be. Yes, they were poor. It was checked by John, his accountant. This is where it gets real for Bubbles Pleasant's two sisters. They had to start wearing clothes out of Verna's junk closet. The family could no longer stay in their big house. The house is fine tables and chairs, and all of their fine things had to be sold. They had suddenly become penny pinchers. All the father had left was a little hut deep in the Barrow woods, so that he and his three daughters had to move. Living in the hut in the woods was hard work. Each day a fire had to be started, meals cooked, the place cleaned up, the garden tended, and things fixed when they broke. Now that the family was poor, you might think the two sisters would help out with the chores. Think again. "She looks like such a mess," they said, turning up their noses at Bubbles Pleasant. "She might as well serve us." And so Bubbles Pleasant did all the hard work. She was their chef and more. Bubbles Pleasant thought to herself, "This is a serious killmonger." Suddenly, there was great news. The father's ship had come back to shore. "Daughters," said the happy father. I am going to town. Tell me what fine gift I can bring back for you. Bring me the finest dress from the finest shop, said the elder sister. I want one just like it, said the middle sister. And you, Bubbles Pleasant, said he. All I want, Father, she said, is a single rose. Because all she wanted was peace, love, and hope. Can you believe her? Said the elder sister. What a fool, said the middle sister. They both laughed. Girls, said the father, if that is all Bubbles Pleasant wants, that's what I will bring back for her. The father was on his way home when he thought, I forgot all about the rose for Bubbles Pleasant. Something told me to get it first. All at once, the sky turned black. Oh dear, he said, look at that. A storm is coming. A moment later, heavy dark rains fell from the sky. Soaking wet and tired, the father saw a blink of light in his eye from far away. He went closer to the light, hoping it meant there was some place he could ask to stay the night. When he got up close, he saw a large palace called sMagicalBlackEmpire, with candles in all its windows. It was very odd, but the father was tired and walked through the front door that was open. So with care, the father stepped in there, looking around. Hello, he said, but there was no answer. He saw a great feast spread out over a large table. Hello, he said again. Still no answer. The father sat down in front of the fire to warm himself from the rain, but still no one came into the room. Hi, Muhammad Gabala 2020s. Hi, Sexy Teddy. Hi, Rico Bizarre Foods. How are you guys? I'm so glad you came into my live. I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad you stopped by for story time, where you missed the rest of the part 2 of the other story, but I'm glad you're here to hear tonight's story. And Sexy Teddy, I think I used you as a character in one of the previous stories. I'm not sure, but you have to do the replay to figure it out. I suppose it would be all right if I stayed the night since no one is at home, he said. He took a quick bite and found a room to spend the night and fell asleep fast. The next morning, the table was laid out with breakfast. Still, no one was around. I suppose I should leave. So he grabbed his keys and left after a while. On the way out, he passed a rose garden. I will take just one, he said, as he scratched his head and journeyed on. Just as he picked a rose for Bubbles Pleasant, a loud stump came up from behind him. Roared a voice, "You took my rose!" The father spun around. There, standing before him, was an awful huge monster named Rezexct. I am sorry, he said, still scratching his head, trying not to seem nervous. I didn't know, but now I must go to get back to my daughters. You will pay for this, Rezexct yelled. You will die. The father fell on his knees. Please, do not kill me, he begged. I only picked a rose for one of my daughters. Oh, so you have daughters, said Rezexct. Well, if one of them will come and share my space and take your place here in the palace, you will be free. If not, you must come back in 3 months and take your punishment. When the father got home, Bubbles Pleasant could tell something was wrong. "What is it, father?" she said. "Oh, nothing," he said. But she knew that was not true. At last, the father made it home. As he handed the girls their gift, all they could say was, "It's perfect, father." As he told them what the beast had said, Bubbles Pleasant said, "All of this happened because I asked you to bring me a rose. I just wanted a stress-free zone. Now this." Her sisters looked at their father and each said, "Don't look at me. I'm not going." Bubbles Pleasant said, "Don't worry, father. You got me. I will go there in your place, or else you will die." She didn't want to be a rebel rocker. "No, I cannot allow that," said the father. "I am old and I don't have much longer to live. I can just stay there and chill until my time comes to meet my fate." "You are young. You must not do this you are young. You must not do this, hon. I beg of you." But Bubbles Pleasant would not change her mind. She was too sweet and kind to sacrifice her father. Two days later, the father walked into her room and she looked at him with wide eyes and he said, "Yes, it's that time." Then off they went to the palace where the Rezexct lived. She didn't worry because she knew she was God's child. When they arrived, he said, "About time you got here. This is your daughter? She rocks," said the Rezexct, looking at Bubble Pleasant. "Yes," she said, "I will stay here and will not fear. And that means my father is free to go. He told me so. That was the agreement." "Yes," said Rezexct. The days were long, and there was no one for Bubbles Pleasant to talk to at the palace. Every night at 9, Rezexct would come from behind the shadows for dinner. At first, he would only grunt, and she said nothing. After all, it was not easy to be a prisoner, even if it is at a palace. She didn't exactly eat with Liz each night. Then one time at dinner, he spoke and made a little joke, so she smiled. Another time, trying to unwind, he made a comment, but she just looked him in the eye and said nothing. After that, he would ask her about her day, and she would say, "What does it matter?" Not long thereafter, Bubble Pleasant came to a part of the palace she had not seen before. Over a door was a sign, "Bubbles Pleasant's room." The door was open. Inside the room were shelves of books to the ceiling, a piano, and a cabinet of fine dresses just her size. Now, there was much to talk about at dinner. One night at the end of dinner, Rezexct, the beast, said, "I'm not trying to mess with your head. Will you marry me?" Bubbles Pleasant was shocked, so she stopped eating her dinner. "Rezexct, you are my best friend. How could we end such a good friendship?" she said. "Please understand, just give me a chance to prove I love you," he said. I do not want to marry you, she said. Still, Rezexct asked her the same question every night after dinner. Each time, Bubbles Pleasant said the same thing. One night, the beast said, "If you will not be my bride, what can I do to make you happy? If you must know, I would like to go to see my father. I miss him so much," she said. The next night, she knew Rezexct gave her 2 magical items, a magic mirror and a magic ring. She could not believe he had these things. If you want to see your father, just ask the magic mirror to show him to you. If you are ready to go back home, you can go alone. Just turn the magic ring on your finger 3 times and ask the mirror to take you there. When it's time to come back here to the palace, turn the ring 3 more times and ask the mirror to come back. But do not be gone for more than 1 week. You see, I can't live without you. I will surely die of grief. Bubbles Pleasant agreed. When she got back to her room, she looked in the magic mirror, and asked real soon to see her father. And there he was in bed and looking ill as if he could die. In fear, Bubbles Pleasant turned the ring on her finger 3 times. "Please, magic mirror," she said, "take me home right now. My father looks ill and shouldn't be alone." And she was back. Ah, such joy came over her father when he looked up and saw her. For much of why he was ill was in knowing that she was stuck in the palace, all because of him. Bubbles Pleasant stayed and vowed to be there until the day he died. She told him that she had all the books she could read and was pleased to have music and fine dresses to wear. Rezexct is not so bad. I had to get to know him. He's good to talk to. He's my friend. And you know I have to go back there again. Where are my sisters? Where do they stay? They both got married and went their own way, said her father. Did they marry good men? She said. They had a lot of money, said the father. But I do not know if your sisters are happy. For the eldest sister married a handsome man so vain, it's a shame that he gives no thought to anything, including his wife. The middle sister married a man with a sharp wit, but who used it to hurt the people around him, including his wife. When the sisters came to the house and saw Bubbles Pleasant dressed so well and talking about how kind and good the beast was to her, they burned with rage because she was like treasure sitting pretty in that castle. For this reason, she was most hated by them. Bubbles Pleasant told them she must stay no more than 1 week. But her sisters were very deceitful and came up with a plan to hurt her. They baited Bubbles Pleasant by saying such nice things they had never said before. When she told them she must go soon, they wept. They said she must not leave, but she didn't know they had deceived her by saying there was still so much left they wanted to do with her. And said, why does just a few days matter? After all, you can call him with your magic mirror. So Bubbles Pleasant stayed. One night she had a dream about Rezexct. In her dream, it seemed the beast lay sick and dying. When Bubbles Pleasant woke up, she asked the magic mirror to show her Rezexct. There he was in the mirror, lying in the rose garden on a pillar of stones, looking so sick he would die. At once, she turned the magic ring 3 times. Take me back to Rezexct, she said. In a moment, she was sitting next to the poor sick beast who could only gasp for air. You have come back, sweet pea, said Rezexct in a thick voice. I'm so sorry that I am late, said Bubbles Pleasant. I could not bear the idea that you may not come back to me. I'm afraid it is too late for me now, he said. His eyes closed. No, cried Bubbles Pleasant. Do not go. Do not leave me. Just then, she knew in her heart what was true. I love you, she cried out. Please come back. If you only knew, come back. I will be your wife, as tears rolled down her cheeks. Just then, Rezexct opened his eyes. Bubbles Pleasant, he replied. You did it. In a flash, Rezexct was changed to a handsome prince. Bubbles Pleasant did not know what to think of this change because he was the kingdom boy. Ah, Bubbles Pleasant, said Rezexct, and he told her his story. Years ago, when he was a prince, an evil fairy named Tinkerbell 83 named Tinkerbell 83 had put a spell on me. He must stay a beast forever until a maiden loved him for who he really was, she said. Now she had broken the spell. And so Bubbles Pleasant and Rezexct were married, and they lived happily ever after. So that concludes our story time. For those of you that were here, you were able to hear part 2 of the story that we started on Wednesday, which was similar to Pinocchio. And I finished it up like I promised. It was touch and go for a while today, but I started to feel better later on in the afternoon. And so I was able to get it all done. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming in. And let's see, did I miss anybody? I think I shouted out everybody. If you came in afterwards, please don't forget, before we leave out, to thumbs up your host. I generally forget to say that, so sometimes Gigi is kind of like my backup for that. I just thank you all so much for coming in. And for those of you who are new to my story time, I have a book that I wrote. I'm a published author, and my book is available on Amazon. I don't have it with me tonight, but if you go back and look at a couple of the other stories, you'll get a chance to see the actual cover of the book. The name of my book is My Struggle in Broken Pieces, A Healing for My Soul. And it is available right now on Amazon. Eventually, I will be reading excerpts from my book, which is why I call these little stories a prelude to story time. Because these little stories I'm doing leading up to the, okay, Muhammad is saying something to Shiwana. Okay. So it's leading up to me reading excerpts from my book. And so that's why I call these stories a prelude to story time. Even though I'm doing story time, these stories are a prelude to when I actually start reading stories from the book I wrote. And in a couple of the previous stories, I did mention the book, and I did a giveaway. I did a giveaway to a couple of people who could guess how many characters were in the story, because that particular time, one of the times, I had like 54 characters in the story that night. And I said whomever guessed the exact amount or closest to that would win. And I think that was the night 50 plus won a book. Another night, so 50 plus won a book. Another night, Vern's Junk Closet. The night the Scratching Queen came into the story time for the first time, she not only got to hear her name called, but she was a main character in the story, but she also won a book that night. And Wolfman Gaming, I gave him a book because he has been in my live just about every night. He may have missed one, but I don't think. But he's been here, and he's usually like one of the first ones in there. So the night that I did that, he won a book. So I'm going to be getting those books out to those people. And one of the reasons I'm doing these short stories as a prelude to story time when I start getting into my book is because I want to give people time to order the book for those who are interested, and that way they can possibly follow along in the book while I'm reading. The book, my book sort of reads almost like a memoir. So what it is it's a book that talks about my real life journey. It talks about it with me, for one, before, in my younger years, before I got closer in my faith to God. And then it talks about the challenges and struggles that we still encounter, or I encounter, even after the transformation. And I kind of did it in a kind of humorous way. And it's scripture based. It's no way intended to be construed as the Bible, but it is scripture based. And I just wanted to use those scriptures in and incorporate them in the story in my book to let you see what the word is talking about, so you can see it from both a carnal perspective and to see what it means spiritually, what the scripture intends for us to know. So that was one of the reasons why I'm doing these stories, is to give people time. But even once I start reading excerpts from my book, I'm still gonna try to do these types of stories as well. And I just haven't figured out exactly how I'm gonna do it, whether I'm going to do both, a little both on one night of story time. But what I'm leaning more towards is alternating One night, read from my book. Another night, give you some of these little cute stories here. And now these stories here are not only meant to read you a story, it's also to give shout outs in a way for me not to sit here and say, I want to give a shout out to Gigi, you know, go visit Gigi's channel, Gigi's Gluten-Free Lab. You know, also I want to give a shout out to 50 Plus. Then I want to give a shout out to Rico's Bizarre Foods. Then I want to give out a shout out to Shawana's Creative. Shawana, you're gonna beat me up. Creative Circle. Then I want to give a shout out to Wolfman Gaming. So it's just to avoid me having to do that. I figured the way I did it was a more, you know, unique way for me to give my shout outs like that. And the exciting part about it is when I have one of the YouTube, so I pulled the names, and for those of you who haven't been here, I pulled the names from different YouTubers that I'm subscribed to, and they're subscribed to me. And they'll be in the story as either a person, place, or thing. They may not necessarily be in the story as a person. For instance, I have Simply a Sweetheart. That's one of the YouTubers. I'm sure some of you will probably subscribe to her. Simply a Sweetheart. When I did the story for 50 Plus and his wife, I did the story and I was describing Mother Teresa as in the story. She was a queen, and I was saying how everyone loved her because she was simply a sweetheart. So in that instance, Mother Teresa in the story was a person, but Simply Sweetheart, the YouTuber, was describing how Mother Teresa was. It was describing her. So you have to listen closely to hear the name sometimes, because when I said she was simply a sweetheart, if you don't know that Simply a Sweetheart, if you haven't subscribed to her, you wouldn't necessarily know that that was a YouTuber. You would probably think that just was a sentence. So these names are woven in there as either a person, place, or a thing. And so, like I said, I always get excited about story time anyhow. So whether I have one person or 100 people, that would be nice. I'm just as excited to tell my story, read my story to the one person as if I had 100. I get real excited. And I think sometimes leading up to story time, a lot of times I feel kind of tired, but once it's almost that time, it's like I get this adrenaline rush, you know, because I just enjoy having you all here and sharing story time with me. So for me to do a story like tonight, Rezexct, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, because some of these names I haven't been pronouncing right. Shawana's, I wasn't pronouncing her name right, but she didn't get mad with me. She showed me in there how to say it. She-wanna. I keep trying to call her Shawana. She-wanna. And then Christopher, he had to let me know the J sound in his name. So they helped me out there. Now, Rezexct was the main character tonight. He was the beast. Rezexct, am I saying your name right? That's a tough one there. But he or she. I don't even know. I'm saying he. I don't even know if it's a he or she. I don't remember. I get these little brain farts. But anyways, that was the main character. So a lot of the names I had in there were, and I'm gonna tell you some of the ones that you probably didn't pick up on that were YouTubers' names. I'm gonna go back and tell you some of them that you probably didn't realize were YouTubers' names. I'm gonna tell you what the YouTubers' names were. Sorry. Malone Money Mindset, that's a YouTuber. Cute Angie Vlog. Ashley, and Ashley spells her name, and if you look for her on YouTube, she spells her name Ashley, and then she has 3 exclamation points behind her name. Pleasant Bubbles is a YouTuber. Flawed and Fabulous is a YouTuber, and you may not have known that because I used their name to describe how the two sisters looked at themselves. On a Silver Budget, that's a name, YouTuber. Sexy Too Much For You Coleman is a YouTuber. DC the Purple Diva, I think a lot of you all know her. She's a YouTuber. Gallant Beauty. Natural Hair Queen Sade. Break Those Barriers is also a YouTuber that you probably didn't know from me reading the story. Those of you who are not subscribed to the person. Self Love Always. Checked by John is actually a YouTuber. It Gets Real. And everybody knows Verna's Junk Closet. Penny Pinchers. Barrow Boy Woods. Everybody knows Chef and More. Serious Killmonger. Peace, Love, and Hope. Zoe's Magical Dark Empire. Rezexct. It's PeaceandLoveandhope. And how they spell it is it's apostrophe IT apostrophe F, but they spell perfect like you're purring. They spell it PURRFECT. That's a YouTuber. Stress Free Zone. You Got Me. Rebel Rocker. Yes, It's That Time. That's actually a YouTuber. Bout Time, and it's spelled BOUT space time, TIME. That's a YouTuber. God's Child. She Rocks. Eat with Liz. Treasure Sitting Pretty, and how Treasure Sitting Pretty spells it, TREASUR without the E, and sitting, SITTING, pretty, and they're all lumped together. There's no spaces in there. Most MH Hated. That's a YouTuber, and it's spelled most, then a hyphen, hyphen, then capital MH hyphen, and then hated. Only the M in most is capital, the M and H in the middle is capital, and the H on hated is capital. That's a YouTuber. Sweet Pea is one word. That's a YouTuber. And so is Kingdom Boy. So those are all of the YouTubers' names that were mentioned in the story tonight, and several of them, you know, I could see how you could not know that they were YouTubers' names, some of them, like the Bout Time and It Gets Real, and let me see, some of the ones in our story before, the one that's like Pinocchio. Of course, we had Disorganized Crafter, we had Think Dragon, we had Seven Legs Fairy, we had the Fox and the Cat, who were the Fox was Aesthetic Mess. That's a YouTuber. The cat was something Creeper. Let's see. The cat was named Miss Creeper 361. The fox was Aesthetic Mess. Then we had the White Tupac was the coach driver. Then we had, who else? The person on the stage where he was the puppet master was Malone, the same one we used tonight. He had his name called twice in a story. Used twice. And Harmless Vlogs was used in the story. That's a YouTuber. And it's spelled all caps, Harmless, and then Vlogs is separate, but all caps. We had Homeschool Royalty. We had Expedition Greg. And we had Hippity Dippity 89, which was the cricket, and then the White Tupac. So all of those were YouTubers. We had their names in the 2 stories. Now, there's no rhyme or reason to how I choose the names of the YouTubers. It just depends on how my story is flowing, what name I think fits in there best. So we've had a couple of people that we had their names used twice. Simply a Sweetheart, I know hers was used in a couple of stories. 50 Plus was used in 2 stories. Rico, you were in probably the first story. I think you in, not the first story, second story. You and 50 Plus were in the second story. That's why I had you, Rico. So Verna's Junk Closet, she's been used in 3 stories. It Gets Real in 2 stories. Who else? It's a couple of them that have been used. The Barrow Boy Woods has been used in. So a couple of YouTubers have been used in a story more than once. So like I said, it just depends on how the story is flowing, where I can put in different names. Any type of fairy name, like the Lex Fairy and Tinkerbell 83. Those are the types of names I would use in stories that have some type of fairy in it. Any type of story that has a wolf, I'll be using somebody whose YouTube name is with a wolf. Like Wolfman Gaming. What's going on here? Such viewers will expect your YouTube is receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, and such viewers will expect. Okay, error. YouTube is receiving enough video, smooth streaming, and such viewers will experience buffering. Oh, I got that many people in here that is buffering. Oh, that sucks. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, it says I'm connected. Okay, I hope you guys can still see and hear me. It's saying that it's buffering because of the people in the stream or something. But anyways, that's how I used to name anybody with the wolf type name. I'll look for any YouTubers that have a wolf. So the night that we did the story similar to the 3 pigs, Wolfman Gaming was the main character. He was the wolf. Another night I had a wolf. We did the story similar to Little Red Riding Hood. We used Wolf, Eli Wolf, something. When I have villain type names, then I'll try to find a name. Like tonight, in the rest of the Pinocchio type story, we had PK Strange, because it said a strange person was talking to White Tupac to make that exchange for Think Dragon. So that's how I find the fit the names into the to the story and choose the characters. But like I said, I'm especially excited when I can actually have someone show up for story time. Just like Rezexct showed up tonight, and Rezexct had no idea they were going to be a part of the story tonight. But anyways, I want to thank you all for coming again. I am so excited and so grateful that you all came in to spend time with me at story time. Always remember, until we meet again, may his peace be with you. And always remember, I have a will to live. Thank you. Good night.